Hey everyone, Tin Man here, back with some more Dota Underlords, up in some Lord of Whitespire rank. And, alright, so first pick here, we've got a couple of good options. I've been partial to Axe recently, but I've been playing a lot of Brawny. So you know what, let's try out Batrider. I think Batrider, Tiny, Razor, well, Tiny probably a bit more than Razor, but like Axe, Tiny, and Batrider are all very defensible choices here for a first pick. Kind of depends on, you know, the direction you want to go, and I didn't really scout out what my opponents were up to, because I think scouting out that early is a little bit, doesn't really tell you all that much. Kind of useless, because, you know, you're not really ever tied to your first pick. But we do see that no one else went Brawny, so maybe a little bit of a regret there. Regardless, we picked Batrider, and we'll see where this gets us. I think Chainmail is the best option here. Blightstone's quite good. I think Blightstone is a touch better in like a Knight's build because you already have a lot of tankiness on your front line with the Knight's buff plus the armor. That more armor doesn't really help you that much. But I think the difference in general power level is still high enough to go for the Chainmail over Blightstone because we're not really tied to Knights in any way. Obviously we want to pick up the pair of Batriders, but who is our next choice? So we could pick up, I'm looking at Tusk and Bounty Hunter much more than anything else, because Ogre Magi and Shadow Shaman just kind of stink. You know what, actually, since we already have Trolls, I'll pick up Shadow Shaman. He's a bad unit, don't get me wrong, he is a bad unit, but he does say Troll on him, which makes him like somewhat passable. So we'll pick up Gloves of Haste. I like that item. My top three like tier 1 items are like Chainmail, Gloves of Haste, Embarrassment of Riches on round 1 or 2, and then like Hood of Defiance. So picking up 2 of my top 3 items there, it's pretty good. Man, a whole lot of nothing towards the strategy we were kind of building so far. So we'll kind of hedge ourselves into like a Primordial build, you know, by picking up 2 of the key pieces of Primordial here. The other units in this pack are not really like indicative of a certain strategy. Like Bloodseeker obviously only goes into Assassins, Slarter goes into a lot of different warrior builds, and Drow Ranger into a bunch of different hunter builds, but they're not really like key draws to that strategy. They're like, if you're already in it, yeah, you'll pick them up like sometimes. Instead we get a Summoning Stone. Now that is a big draw towards this Primordial strategy, but Fall from Grace is also a good draw towards Knights. I think Summoning Stone has the highest upside. It's the best in its build. Like, you can play Knights without Fall from Grace. You can't play Primordials that well without Summoning Stone. So definitely happy to pick that up. So we're going to put in the Primordials. I'm actually just going to put in 3 Primordials. We'll move Batrider off to the side here for the moment until we get him to 2-star. And, I mean, if we win, we'll pick up that second Shadow Shaman, but I'm not overly thrilled about it. So off to a reasonable start here. I mean, we have some semblance of direction. You know, we obviously have the Summoning Stone, which is a big pull towards this Primordial build, since all these summons get massively buffed. I think we're still going to lose here because these summons are not going to beat a Bounty Hunter who has regen and the Scrappy buff. So we still lose, but not by much, so it's whatever. That's alright. I don't really care that much for Shadow Shaman. I'm not even, like, I wouldn't even sell off the Venomancer to get a pair of it, just because Venomancer is really good with Summoning Stone. If we go more towards like a Savage's strategy rather than a Troll strategy. So there's a Batrider and a Luna, which is like, alright. I'll buy the Pudge and use our free reroll, and we get double Tiny. Okay, so I'm going to sell off these ones over here and pick up the double Tiny, and then put in Batrider and Luna. And we're kind of, you know, playing both sides of the coin here. We've got obviously some good Knights and some good Primordials right off the bat. I think Tiny actually might just be a touch better than Razor in this situation, right? Because Razor's deals like at most 100 damage to people max range, whereas Tiny's also deals 100. And Tiny has more health. And like the same DPS. Yeah, Tiny's probably better. Alright, well, we got the win. doesn't matter much. I'm going to pick up Bloodseeker, even though I don't like him. So we're between these two strategies right now, and every unit that we pick up is going to pull us further in one direction or another. So Morphling, that's a good pull towards Primordials. Like, let's take quick stock of what we already have for Primordials. We've got 3 pairs, essentially. A pair of Tinies, Morphlings, Razors, and then this one lone Puck. Pudge doesn't really do much into either build. I guess he's like okay in like a transition state towards actually transition state towards a Knight's build, because you want to have an undead, or Heartless rather. It used to be called undead. But actually, I think I'm actually going to sell off the Shadow Fiend and the Bloodseeker here to pick up double Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain can actually go reasonably well into a Primordial build, because you want to build assassins, Morphling, and possibly Viper to go along with Puck. And then since you're going to build mages, because you already have Razor and Puck, so just adding Crystal Maidens in Natural Edition, and then that gives you the mage buff, which means Queen of Pain is quite strong. And anytime you pick up a pair this early on, you're going to be pretty happy with that. Oh, okay then. Yes, I guess we will play Razor. Yes, sir. The pack says, here, take a 2-star Razor, and I'll say okay. So I think we're just gonna ditch out on the Knights here. We got plenty of ammunition here for Primordial build. Looking quickly around, one other person has the Primordial so far. The last place. One other person on Knights, but I think we're pretty well down this path. I guess we can pick up the Abaddon kind of for free. There's no reason not to, I guess. Are we gonna lose here? Really? Ugh. That's rough. I thought we had a nice little win streak going. Nope. Tiny 2-star. What? That beat us, really? I didn't think we were that weak. That build doesn't look all that strong. I mean, it's got 1 2-star. I guess it has the Savage and the Warrior buff, which are pretty good. Well, we get to pick up. We get a free reroll, so I'm not even that upset. Gonna grab that upgrade user. Oh my goodness, it just keeps on flowing. Okay, so I'm gonna ditch Knights at this point. Oh, grabbed the wrong one. Dang it. Alright, that was bad. Oh, we're up against like an identical build. This is funny. It's an identical build, except we have a 2-star Bat Rider. Or wait, we have a 2-star that they don't have. We have a 2-star Tiny and they don't have the Tiny. Everything else is identical. Wait, how did I not see this person when I was scouting them out earlier? That they have Primordial. Oh, maybe I did. The last place person? No, I thought that was Impetuous Panda. You just scouted wrong. I'm not sure. A little bit inefficient here since we didn't grab interest, which I kind of wanted to do. But I like wasn't really keen on selling off a 2-star unit. And then we just picked up a 2-star Venomancer. Okay. I will keep in the Bat right here since we don't need to grab interest right now, or sell off for interest rather. And I'm gonna kind of shade off to this right side so that Tiny with the chainmail picks up most of the zone of control here on the left, and then Razor also, if they're stacked in the middle, then Razor's at an optimal distance to deal max damage, and then Morphling has a good like line to go through everybody with his dash effect. So I think this is a better formation than my previous ones. This Bloodseeker is going to demolish us. And somehow it didn't stun the Bloodseeker. What? You guys see that? This Tiny tossed the Pudge right here into this square, and the Bloodseeker was right there and did not get stunned. Huh. Alright, that seemed like a bug. Maybe he was like moving and it didn't like register. Oh well. Not gonna dwell too much on it. So we picked up a loss there, so we get the free reroll. And I think for interest purposes, I'm gonna sell off this Enchantress and the Bat Rider here to grab interest, and we can just replace it. It's a slight downgrade, I think, Queen of Pain 1 versus Bat Rider 2, but a small enough change, especially in a creep round, that it's definitely worth the 1 gold. And we kind of know that, you know, Bat Rider's not going to stay in this build, like, very long, and Queen of Pain has the potential to be in this build long term. I don't know if Venomancer really does. I mean, obviously goes well with Summoning Stone, but like, what else does he go with? It's hard to ever get a Savage or Warlock into the build. I guess eventually you can grab some Warlocks if you want to throw in like Disruptor. I'm not sure about that. I guess you can also get a Savage instead of the Queen of Pain if you put in Sand King, but that's a little bit later in the game. I'm gonna pick up, I guess, Helm of the Undying here. Force Staff is also, like, all three of those options were kind of interesting to me. They were kind of interesting because, like, Force Staff can go on to Arc Warden pretty well. I guess we could also play a Shadow Fiend. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna use my. I'm gonna buy these and use a free reroll. No, nothing. So anyway, about the items. Helm of the Undying is just a really good item. It's good on like anything. But Force Staff is like, I actually saw some people use it on Arc Warden, and it was like kind of cute, like to prevent assassins or people jumping on Arc Warden to get rid of them, and like they would just immediately throw you away, and they wouldn't aggro back onto him because now Arc Warden is still back in the corner. It was kind of cute. I don't know if it was good. Obviously, it really reduces his damage output because he doesn't have a damage dealing item. But it was a cool idea that I thought about for a second, and I saw someone else run in the early game. I think they replaced it come later game, but it was definitely interesting at the time. So there's... Did I miss a puck? I feel like I should have had 2 pucks by now, but I got bailed out because there was one in this pack anyway. I want to sell off for interest and then make this replacement over Queen of Pain. I think a puck 2 is better than Queen of Pain 1. And then next turn we're going to level up and put the Viper in. Or maybe the Queen of Pain back in. I'm not sure. I feel like I missed a puck though. I feel like I was supposed to get one. Or maybe I'm just going crazy. There's always an option. We're just going crazy here. Alright, pick up the Viper after the round starts, and then pump our 5 gold in so that we naturally will tick up next round and get the better chance of 4-cost units is the important thing. The tier 4 units. Really looking for that Arc Warden. Arc Warden, best unit for this build, and exceptionally important to find. Let's see if we get him. No, but we get a couple other good options. Puck and the Morphling here. Yeah, I think actually the Queen of Pain back in is probably a bit better. And then I'm going to sell off the Omni. He was just there to increase our odds of finding more 3-cost units. And we'll wait till interest locks in at the start of the round to buy again. So I guess I'll talk a little bit about what I just did to organize my bench. Everyone has... You know, can have your own bench organization system, but I'll just go over mine again. So I always have on the left side of my bench the units that I'm playing on board and that I want to get to 2-star. So these are progress towards 2 stars, whether it be a unit that I'm about to put in or like the pair of Queen of Pains. And then units on the far right, I'll put the units that I'm looking at 3-starring. So I already have a 2-star, and like, if I need to, I can just look on the right side and say, okay, I can abandon this one if I need to, you know, clear up bench space. Whereas the ones on the left, I'm pretty much never going to abandon. And then the ones I try to throw in the middle are ones that I just don't want at all. I forgot to buy things because I was talking too much. Classic. Would prevent us from getting interest this turn, so... let's pretend it was intentional. Alright, so we're off to a good start here so far. First place on a good win streak. Let's see if we can keep this going. I think this is a good matchup for us, and they have a, what, big time contract? No, they're just running a Ogre just for Bloodbound effect. or for mage effect, sorry. That doesn't really seem optimal to me. I don't think Ogre is really the one you want to be looking at for that. I'm going to try to avoid this same mistake again by buying things that I'm going to need. Alright, so wolves, so let's flip-flop. And then I don't want any of these, so we're just going to sell off for interest. Alright, we're up to 50 gold interest, got a win streak, get into the wolves with 92 life. We've lost 3 rounds, but we're at 92 life. No one else has lost just 3, but people who've lost 4, somebody who lost 4 is down at 73. So we've definitely lost very narrowly in the rounds we have lost, which is really good. That, you know, you want to just keep your life total high as possible, because a lot of times in the new meta here with the rerolls that you get for losing the round, the games are a lot closer, especially come late game. It's like there's very rarely somebody going to be running away with the game with a perfect game, or, you know, a 20 round win streak or something absurd. That really doesn't happen all that much. So you really need to care about your life total. There's a big time contract. It's a little bit late for it, but the other options aren't great. I'm going to pick that up, and I'm picking it up because it's really good on Arc Warden, because when you have, well, you need to trigger the bonus. You need to have another one. But if you can do that, then Arc Warden turns into like this crazy, like, unstoppable machine of gaining buffs after buffs after buff. Which gets pretty funny. I do want that Crystal Maiden, actually. I don't need that. I want Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden's actually probably better here just because it gives me the mage buff, and we have magic damage from Puck and Morphling, and it also helps Puck to cast quicker. Oh, and Razor has magic damage too. Can't forget about that one. But doesn't look like it was quite enough. All of their board was super low. Alright, well, we lose, but it was a good run. It was a good run on that win streak. It's alright, we're about to level up and throw in another magic damage dealer. Or I guess throw in one that we already had. And we also get a free reroll. So I'm going to pick... I don't really think we need Alchemist ever in this build. Use the free reroll. Nothing there, so we're going to sell off this Venomancer, who is probably eventually getting replaced as soon as we find, like, Arc Warden. Would be ideal to replace it with. And then we just want to keep our interest, so we can get to that level 8 as quickly and efficiently as possible. Because level 8's where you're really going to start finding those 4-cost units. 2-star Terrorblade. That is terrifying. Yeah, it's going to be this. Not by a ton, but by enough. Ooh, I dropped us really low, comparatively. I didn't realize that. I guess people right underneath us were pretty healthy. 81 life. Alright. Like I said, games are always going to be very close and contested. There's very rarely going to be somebody so low. I mean, there is one person now, but that's pretty unusual, I'll say. Okay, so I'm going to put in Sand King over this Queen of Pain. Sand King also does AoE magic damage. Not quite as much, 150 at level 1 versus 200. And then 250 versus 300. But it also stuns, and he's also a much more resilient unit just on his own. He's got 10 armor. 10 armor, you know, a lot more health. He can kind of be a frontliner. Plus he also has his Caustic Finale, which affects their attack speed and also has some magic damage on it. So I think Sand King is a much better unit for this build, as well as it triggers Savage bonus, which, if we look at the damage adjustment, I mean, it's a slight buff to Venomancer. Like, this light blue stuff is the damage that that bleed did. It's hard to tell about Sand King because of that damage includes his ability and the Caustic Finale procs, so hard to say which one was really stronger. I do have a free reroll that I actually don't need to use right now because we won, but I would have forgot it if we lost. Probably would have. Here's another Razor. Remember that time we had 3 Razors in the same pack? Yeah, I remember. It was pretty fun. So, I think we're just going to sit here, and then hopefully we win this round. And then we can save this free reroll until round 21 when we're already leveled up. If we lose this round, though, we'll have to use it, you know, as the round's resolving so that we don't lose it, so we can get the next free reroll. But in either case, we're going to take a free reroll as soon as we get to level 8 on round 21. No matter how you slice it, that's going to happen. Uh-oh. Yeah, we lost here. Alright, anything we want on this reroll? No, not really. Close fight. One had a 3-star axe. That's kind of early for a 3-star axe. There's only 2 3-stars in the game. There's somebody else who has a 3-star razor. Ugh, that's unfortunate. Considering we have 2 2-stars. Yeah, they're probably going to get the better. They probably have the better end of that exchange right now. Alright, so creep round coming up, so we're going to position in such a way that we put most of the damage on the right hand one, and then just a little bit of damage on the left. There's another Razor. Sweet. So as soon as the round starts, we're gonna level up, or pump our gold into leveling, and then I want to grab the Razor, and then probably put out the Queen of Pain. That gives me the Assassin bonus, right? Or I guess Viper. Viper would probably be better than Queen of Pain, like in any case, because it also gives me Dragon. Yeah, I think that's correct. So we just get up to 23 of 24, and then starting next round we level up, we'll get the reroll. And you know, we're getting to this this 3-star Razor, despite the fact someone else is already has it. So, Octarine Essence or Brooch of the Aggressor. I actually kind of like Octarine Essence here, with either Morphling or Razor are both like pretty good options with it. Alright, let's reroll. Let's put in a Dragon. I don't really need Lich. I need Arc Warden. Is that Viper? How would I use Lich into this kind of build? I don't really have a flexible mage outside of Crystal Maiden. I think the Crystal Maiden is better for us, though. Yeah, so Morphling did get 2 ults off there, just barely, because he had the bonus cooldown reduction. But if he had the Helm of the Undying, he basically would have got one anyway, because this is 4 extra seconds to do his thing. But I actually don't mind him dying, because then I get the Eidolon. So I think on the whole that's a little bit better. Oh man, we need to find some upgrades here. There's the Arc Warden. Okay, sorry Venomancer. Your services are complete. And we'll put Gloves Haste on the Arc Warden. Yeah, I don't think Lich is going to happen. I think Lich would be a cool next unit, like a 9th unit, if I wanted it. But this meta really like requires you to get 3-star units. And like, look at those guys who get 3-star Tiny and Razor. I don't. So I'm like very disappointed with myself right now. So we'll pick up the Puck and Viper, and I'm not going to get all these things to 3-star, but I'm going to try to get some of them. Oh no, you hit the wrong target, Puck. You're supposed to hit this Arc Warden, not the other one. Oh, that's unfortunate. Puck targeting. If Puck had sent that illusory orb to kill the real one instead of the fake one first, I think we win that fight. It'd be close though. There's another Arc Warden? Yes, please. Hey, we get a free reroll, though. Oh, boy, that's a good reroll. That's a really good reroll. Okay, I'm gonna... I have to ditch some of these things. I have to just ditch one of these, right? I'll ditch the Viper, I guess. And keep trying to go for 3-star Puck. I think 3-star Puck's a bit better than Viper. I'm not positive. Just because Puck pumps out so much damage. Especially 3-star. Look at how many Eidolons we just got. Beastmaster throws his axes, and then it's like, oh, here's 4 Eidolons too. That are all, of course, buffed by the Summoning Stone and whatnot. Alright, so despite the fact that, 2 other people are going for this build, we still got it together pretty well. We had a much stronger early game than they did. Both of these had really weak early games. Notice how low their life total is. And we still found a 3-star Razor. Alright, fair enough. I do need... I just remembered we have this Bloodbound contract, or Big Time contract. And no... We're not triggering it. So I'm really... I guess instead of a Lich, right, for another unit, we're looking for a Bloodbound. Because it's... I don't think you can get another Big Time contract at this point. Unless you lose the creep round, in which case I don't really think that's worthwhile. Actually, is it? Is it worthwhile to intentionally lose a creep round? This person has 3-3-star Brawnies already? Around 24? What? What? With 65 kills on the Beastmaster? Okay, well, looks like we're fighting for second place here. Because... that. On round 24, you already have 3 of them to 3-star. That's pretty early, I'll say. Alright, let's try to find at least 2-star Arc Warden, and then if we find 2-star Arc Warden, then I think we level up to 9. I know I mentioned like intentionally losing this round. I don't actually think I want to do that. But it was like a thought. Just get worse loot. Enigma. If you find a 2-star Enigma, that's also a really good option. More so than like Tiny even. Well, unless we find a 3-star Tiny. This build's very flexible actually outside of its, its core, whether you want Dragon Knight or Viper, you want Sand King. Like we could replace like Viper Sand King with like Dragon Knight Enigma. I think that would be a straight upgrade if you can find them both to 2-star. You lose the assassin buff, but you gain just really powerful individual units. We'll see how the rolls shape up, if we can do that or not. Is this the correct... I almost accidentally clicked on something. I was just wondering if that's the correct positioning. I think we'll take Refresher Orb here and put that on Razor, just so he casts his ult twice in a row real quick. And then a bit of extra health on the Puck, I guess? I don't know. Maybe the Viper. Probably makes more sense over on Viper. Nothing. Come on. I need something. Tiny and Dragon Knight. Okay, I'm gonna... I guess I can just pick them up after the round. I don't need to sell off anything. But I'm kind of leaning away from these Viper and Puck, because the idea is maybe if we get Dragon Knight 2-star, we're going to be replacing Viper with the Dragon Knight. And then if we're doing that, then we're kind of freed up to replace the Sand King. Or we could replace Sand King and then we're kind of freed up to replace the Viper, in which case Enigma makes a bit more sense. So these are two kind of like the odd man out here. Viper and Puck are the excess ones we could get rid of if we need the bench space. But we can obviously use this little trick right now to gain a couple extra bench spaces. Come on, something. There's an Arc Warden, that's really good. Okay. I'll sell off the Viper. And now actually we're looking at leveling up and trying to find a Bloodbound. because then we can move Big Time Contract over to Arc Warden, who will be much better with it than it is right now, because it's obviously not triggering. But once we get him to, we can, you know, throw a Ogre Magi or a Warlock up there to just, you know, die right off the bat, and that'll be great, because then all of my backline Arc Wardens will get a massively increased damage. Oh boy, this Beastmaster is racking up so many kills. 68 kills. Oh boy. So, this is, I guess, one of the weak points of this build, is if people are playing Brawny, they're really strong against what you're doing. Because they just can stack up a whole bunch of kills if they get far enough ahead. So I think my game plan here is to buy this Warlock after combat, and then hopefully we win, so I don't need to reroll. But then I'll use a free reroll once we get to level 9, trying to find this Dragon Knight, which we can then replace the Sand King with, who just got actual one-shot and couldn't cast a Vault, even though he had Bracers. Or Helm of the Undying, rather. That's impressive that he couldn't do that. I think we lose this, because I don't know if we can ever kill a 2-star Treant who can just, like, cast a big heal. Maybe. No chance, right? No chance. Okay. So we do lose, so I do need to reroll. But I want to buy that Warlock first, because that'll be our 9th unit to trigger Bloodbound, and then we'll move Big Time Contract over to Arc Warden. I don't really think I want that. And then, do I want the Sand King? I don't think I do. I don't want a 2-star Warlock, actually. There's a Dragon Knight. That's sweet. Alright, so... Did I get it? Yes, I got it in time. Sweet. I wasn't sure if I got it off in time. I had to do a lot that turn. Oh god, we need Enigma against this guy. This Beastmaster with 97 kills? Yeah, we need to Enigma that. Wow. Okay. We're just facing 3-star Beastmasters back to back to back. It's really starting to wear me thin. 3-star Beastmaster is definitely the counter to Primordial builds. That is definitely the case. Alright. Well, we're against the Dino round, so I don't need to reroll that much right now. My next unit wouldn't be Gyrocopter, it would be Enigma. If I... Enigma could replace Tiny or Morphling, honestly. Let's use our free reroll. Or Viper. Probably Viper. I do need to keep in the Warlock, obviously. He needs to get killed off right away. And these guys get massively increased damage. And now we're looking for a good damage item for a Dragon Knight. I don't think Helm of the Undying is really where we want to be. Actually, that Helm should probably be over on Morphling, just to get a second cast off. Or I guess he already has that. Yeah, it's fine on him, but hopefully we find a better one. Actually, Gloves of Face is probably better. Hopefully we find a Daedalus or Moonshard or something like that. Battle Fury doesn't really count. Because it doesn't... Well, it is plus 70 damage. I don't think he splashes when he turns into dragon form. Doesn't. But maybe it's still better than just plus 20 attack speed. Alright. I really want to find, like, Enigma 2-star. Or, you know, 3 stars of Tiny. And Morphling in one pack? Oh boy. That was certainly something. Alright, so we're going to put Enigma in here with the Helm of the Undying so that he can definitely cast even if he's, you know, CC'd or whatever to be killed. because he's gonna obviously survive for 4 extra seconds. Except he got chain CC'd and he didn't get it off anyway. So that was unfortunate. But we still crush him. This is a different Beastmaster opponent, so I don't actually know how many stacks this Beastmaster had. This one only had 81. That's like amateur league. To get to the big leagues, you gotta have 104, like this guy. All right. Now we're actually one away from the Shaman buff of all things. So if I'm gonna put another thing in, it's probably gonna be a Disruptor. Do I want to get to 10 with this build? Like, I have my things to 3-star, right? Like, I'm gonna get to Puck 3-star. That's pretty unlikely, I guess. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna go for level 10. Why not? All right, this is the 104 kill Beastmaster, but all right, Enigma hit this axe, so we should get really high DPS. Okay, maybe not. Okay, well, that was not very much. I mean, it only hit Axe. It was supposed to hit the Beastmaster, who had way more health than the Axe did. We're at 4. Oh my god, we're so low. Alright, maybe trying to get up to level 10 is a little bit out of the realm of possibility. How much is it going to cost? 45 gold here? Actually, is there any synergy I can just, like, throw this in? No, I can't break up anything. I really just want to throw this Disruptor in, but I don't have the gold to. So I'm going to have to like hope I can survive for another round or 2. Like 2 more rounds I think I need to survive. In which case I'm probably top 3 anyway. But I think that's our best bet to hopefully make this work. So now why are we beating this build of Brawny, but we're not beating the other one? Let's take a look at the difference here. So this one has Warrior Hunters. Same Warrior Hunters, 4 Heartless. Pretty much the same build. I guess the other one has... There's like no difference. Okay, like higher star levels on a couple things. And 1 extra unit. I don't really know why we are so convincingly crushing one and so getting convincingly crushed by the other. You know, it's just a little weird to me. I still have a free reroll? What? I didn't think I had one. Oh. No, whatever. Alright, I'm going to sell this Arc Warden for interest. And if we can survive 1 more round, we can level up and throw in this Disruptor, which gives us the Shaman and Warlock buff. We'll see if we can survive 1 more round against this Phantom opponent. I'm liking our odds because this Arc Warden is about to die. Never mind. I don't like our odds. It was really close. I was just looking on our backline and like, oh yeah, Arc Warden's copying and doing all this stuff. And then I looked at theirs and they were all still alive at like 1 health. Alright, so a solid 3rd place. I think we did really well considering some of the other builds our opponents had. You know, the 3-star Beastmasters just really wrecked us in that mid game. Both players had a 3-star Beastmaster between rounds 20 and 25, and that hurt us a lot because we went up against them a few times and they just demolished us because his AoE axes just make him hit like so much damage. I don't actually know if I played against this 3-star Terrorblade build. I don't know if they ever got to 3-star, but yeah, our mid game, that round 20 to 25, was somewhat weak, I'll say. I don't know if that was just due to like bad matchups or what. We didn't get great items because we didn't get the Arc Warden Bloodbound contract really online, and we didn't have another thing like Maelstrom or Daedalus or not Battle Fury. You know, they're ranged units, so they don't really take full advantage of the cleave. So I'll say I think that was what went wrong this game, was we were a little bit behind in that mid game. I think we correctly identified to go into Primordials after, you know, we kind of kept our options open between Knights and Primordials, but then the Summoning Stone kind of nudged us more towards Primordials, and then of course we got the 3 Razors in 1 pack. It's interesting to note, though, that two other Primordial players went out in 7th and 8th this game. They seem to be going for a reasonably similar build to us. They're both running Queen of Pain, which I think I advocate moving away from in general towards like Sand King or, in our case, Dragon Knight. But it's hard to really tell what went wrong for them versus what went right for us in the Primordial build. But I hope this was a good learning experience, because this is one of my favorite builds, this Primordial build with Dragon Knight and Arc Warden, and if you can find it, big time contract for Bloodbound. And it definitely requires Summoning Stone, though. I guess that's one thing this person did wrong. The 7th place, they didn't have Summoning Stone. So, alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you learned something. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. See ya.